Clara was exhausted from the incessant questions about her love life. On the verge of turning 35, she was preparing for yet another interrogation from her family during the birthday party. But this time, she had an infallible plan. She would bring a fake boyfriend to avoid the uncomfortable questions. What she didn't expect was that the outcome of that night would hold improbable surprises. Embark on this engaging and fun story. Hello, my friends. I am Linda, and this is Linda's Love Stories. I hope you enjoy this story. On that sunny morning, Clara was busy with her daily chores when the piercing sound of her phone interrupted her concentration. She raised an eyebrow in surprise upon seeing her mother's call flashing on the screen. With a resigned sigh, she answered the call, knowing that something was about to happen. "Clara, dear," began her mother's voice on the other end of the line. "I was thinking it would be wonderful if you came home next week. After all, you're about to turn 35, and it would be a perfect opportunity to gather the family." Clara couldn't help but grimace, as the idea of being the centre of attention at a big celebration made her uncomfortable. She was never one for grand parties, preferring a quieter and more discreet life. Clara's family was a true clan, always ready to gather on weekends for endless lunches, with uncles, aunts and cousins sprawled around the table. Clara had 3 older siblings, and her house was constantly filled with laughter and lively voices. This strongly contrasted with Clara's introspective personality. Although she deeply loved her family, from a young age she secretly harboured the desire to escape that small town and find her own path, away from the curious eyes of everyone who knew her or were part of the large family. Wherever she went in that little town, she was always surrounded by familiar faces. Sometimes she dreamed of the opportunity to be just Clara, instead of so-and-so's cousin or so-and-so's daughter. A job opportunity had been the golden ticket to Clara's new life. It had been a few years since she left behind the hustle and bustle of her lively family. Her visits to her parents' house were always met with great anticipation. For that exuberant family, Clara's mere arrival was reason enough to gather all the relatives and turn the moment into a celebration. Once again, Clara found herself in an uncomfortable situation. Her mother was determined to organise a birthday party for her, and Clara knew it would be something big and extravagant. She didn't want to upset her mother, who was so excited about the idea, so she decided to accept. As the date of the party approached, Clara began to mentally prepare herself for what was to come. She knew the celebration would be filled with contagious laughter, warm hugs, and a profusion of delicious treats, but she was also aware that she would have to face a veritable barrage of questions, especially from her aunts, who were true experts in probing into her love life. "Clara, my dear, haven't you found a boyfriend yet?" "Clara, at your age I was already married and had 2 kids. Clara, you shouldn't live alone in that far-off city. Come back here, dear, and you'll find a husband soon." She knew these well-intentioned questions and advice would come like an avalanche during the birthday party. She was so tired of having her life scrutinised that, for a brief moment, she wished she had a boyfriend just to placate her aunt's incessant inquiries. But Clara truly didn't have much luck in love. There was a time when she dated a guy named Raphael. He seemed like a perfectly normal and pleasant guy at first, but a peculiar detail emerged in the first few weeks of their relationship. Raphael had an obsession with feet. He would ask Clara to wear sandals all the time and to keep her toenails painted, because he thought that was beautiful. However, when Clara discovered that Raphael kept a collection of foot photos on his computer, she thought it was time to step in the opposite direction. She couldn't help but laugh at the situation. After all, who could have imagined that her quest for a normal relationship would lead her to someone with such an intense passion for feet? Another relationship Clara had was with a guy named Marco. She met him while shopping, and at first it seemed like a typical encounter. However, she soon discovered that Marco had an irresistible inclination for strong emotions and risky adventures. On their first date, Marco surprised Clara by taking her skydiving. Clara, who was expecting a quiet dinner at a cosy restaurant, found herself in the sky at a dizzying speed, her heart in her throat. In the following meetings, Marco invited her to watch one of his jiu-jitsu matches. She watched as he left the mat with a cut on his eyebrow and a dislocated shoulder. On another occasion, he invited her to visit a waterfall, but forgot to mention that there was a 10-kilometre trail to get there. Clara felt like she was in a survival marathon, when all she wanted was a cosy night watching a movie with someone special. It was too much for Clara, who realised she was more in search of a partner for quiet moments than someone who would take her to climb Everest on every date. These were just a few of Clara's peculiar and failed relationships. It seemed like she had a magnet for attracting eccentric and unusual men. It was a Friday, and Clara was meticulously tidying her desk as she finished another work shift. Her organisation was a standout trait, and she strove to keep everything in order. It was at that moment that Andre, a co-worker, approached her seeking help. "Clara, I urgently need your help," said Andre with a pleading look. Andre was an extremely friendly and affable guy who got along well with everyone. But his life was a true mess. His desk looked like it had been hit by an explosion, with coffee cups scattered among important reports and sketches his restless mind had scribbled. For Clara, who valued organisation, it was simply unbearable. And it wasn't just the mess on his desk that bothered her. Andre, despite being a handsome guy, always seemed dishevelled. His hair was perpetually messy, and his shoes were often untied. Clara often wondered how someone could be so disorganised. "Clara, I need your help. I completely forgot I had to finish a very important report, and if I don't turn it in, I might lose my job. Would you stay a few extra hours to help me?" "I'll do anything you want," pleaded Andre with a desperate look. At that moment, a crazy and bold idea popped into Clara's mind. She blinked and replied with a mischievous smile. "Do you have any plans this weekend? Would you accompany me to a family party and pretend to be my boyfriend?" Andre was surprised but couldn't help but smile. "Are you hiring me as your fake boyfriend?" he asked, intrigued. Clara laughed and replied sincerely, "Well, it's more like a favour exchange. I help you with the report, and you help me avoid my family's incessant comments about my love life. What do you think?" Andre pondered for a moment and finally agreed. "Okay, Clara, you have a deal. I will be your fake boyfriend for the weekend, but in return, you need to help me finish this report as quickly as possible." Andre and Clara worked on the report until late into the night, but they finally managed to successfully complete it. "See you tomorrow, then. I will stop by your house so we can go to my family's town," Clara said, bidding farewell to her colleague. Andre seemed excited about the idea. "Do I need to wear something special?" he asked. Clara gave a slightly sceptical smile. "Clean clothes and combed hair are enough," she replied, somewhat doubting that Andre would actually follow her advice. The next morning, Clara arrived at Andre's house to pick him up. To her surprise, he was there at the door, dressed in clean clothes, hair combed, and looking particularly charming. "Wow, you really took it seriously, Andre," Clara said, impressed. He winked at her. "Well, I didn't want to look bad as your fake boyfriend, right? I'm ready for the mission." On the way to Clara's family's town, she and Andre had an incredible opportunity to talk and, surprisingly, discovered several common interests. They seemed to like the same bands, shared a taste for movies, and even had their favourite restaurants in common. Clara was genuinely surprised to have so many things in common with someone who, at first glance, seemed so different from her. As they approached the family house, Clara could already see the parked cars and the commotion in front of the house. Her mother was not joking around, as she had really organised quite a party to celebrate Clara's 35th birthday. When Clara and Andre arrived, they were greeted with a warm reception, effusive hugs, and much celebration. However, everyone was really curious about the charming guy accompanying Clara. "This is my boyfriend, Andre," Clara announced with a smile, preparing for the family's reaction. Like a chorus, there was a unanimous exclamation. "Finally, you're introducing us to a boyfriend, Clara. When's the wedding? How many kids do you two plan to have?" The barrage of questions was only interrupted by Clara's mother, who intervened with a smile. "Hey folks, leave Clara and her boyfriend alone. Let's enjoy the party and not torment them with questions." Andre quickly mingled with Clara's family in a surprising way. He played cards with the uncles, played with the kids, and even played the guitar with the brothers. Clara watched Andre with enchantment, amazed at how naturally he fit into the family gathering. That disorganized and clumsy colleague revealed a charming side that Clara didn't know. While Clara watched enchantedly how Andre mingled with her family, she didn't realize that he was also observing her attentively. He watched her interacting with her grandmother. He saw her animatedly discussing the soccer game with the uncles, and also noticed her dancing joyfully with the nieces and nephews. Andre was getting to know a completely different Clara from the one he knew at work. She revealed herself to be a fun, affectionate, and lively young woman, and he couldn't help the smile that formed on his face as he watched her. When it was time to sing Happy Birthday, Clara's family made sure Andre stayed by her side. With a smile, Andre held Clara's hand, and the two shared a complicit and amused look in that situation. And so that memorable day came to an end. Clara's family was charmed by Andre, and the words of an enthusiastic aunt lingered in the air. It was worth the wait to find a boyfriend. This one is truly the right man. In the car back home, Andre and Clara couldn't help but laugh at the unique situation they had experienced. "We have to do this again. Your family is amazing, Clara," said Andre with a sincere smile. "Thank you for doing this for me." "I couldn't take another year with my aunts asking about my love life," said Clara. "It was a pleasure," Andre replied, looking at Clara affectionately. For a moment, Clara and Andre wished to prolong that day a little longer, as if wanting to freeze those special moments. "Since you took me to a special place, now it's my turn to take you to a special place," said Andre, with a sparkle in his eyes. On the way back, Andre led Clara to a lookout point. The night was beautiful, with a starry sky and a bright moon illuminating the horizon. They got out of the car and stood side by side, admiring the breathtaking view. "This is incredible, Andre. Thank you for sharing this moment with me." Andre looked into Clara's eyes, capturing the beauty of the night and her beauty. "There is no place I'd rather be than here with you," he said, lightly touching her hand. In a tender moment, Clara and Andre drew closer to each other and shared a kiss under the starry sky and the radiant moon. That was just the first kiss of a beautiful love story that had begun in an unusual way. Clara never had to face family celebrations alone again. She had finally found the right man, the one who fit perfectly into her life. There is no right recipe for finding the love of your life. Sometimes the right person may be right beside us, and we don't even realize it at first. Love is often unpredictable and surprising, and it can manifest in unexpected ways. And have you ever experienced an unusual love story? If you enjoyed, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with a number from 1 to 5 to let us know how much you liked the story. Also, watch the video that is currently on your screen. See you soon.